to another video. Today we're going to be reacting to I Gave One Civilization Infinite Speed and One Infinite Intelligence by Zyron. 63,000 subscribers. He's making some high quality content right here. I heard it was really good. 340,000 views. This guy's on the up and up, huh? Let's see.
I gave one civilization infinite speed, but made them incredibly stupid. The other, I gave infinite intelligence, but made them
really
painfully slow. Then I watched their first children grow up under complete opposite conditions. This video isn't about who's faster or smarter. It's about whether
intelligence
speed
wins,
can
by the way.
overwhelm strategy,
Sure. Depends
or
on
intelligence can outthink chaos.
big enough speed gap. Speed
We start by
wins. Big
creating
enough
the world, adding a wall to
intelligence
split
gap.
off both
Intelligence
sides.
wins.
10 geniuses, genetically modify them to be insanely intelligent, but annoyingly slow. 10 speedsters, genetically modify them to make them insanely fast, but a little stupid. We start at year 1,
stupid?
and the speedsters are the first ones to create a kingdom. They're all excited and they get straight to building, as well as expanding their kingdom. But moving that fast does come at a cost. Everyone is so tired that they're now taking power naps. The geniuses finally caught up and created their kingdom. By year 3, the speedsters began to repopulate, and the firstborn speedster child was a girl named Blip, and she was insanely fast, but also a little stupid. Blip was moving around at like Mach 10, basically breaking the sound barrier every time she was playing around. The speedsters were wasting no time, repopulating and building up their civilization. The geniuses finally put their first tent down, and they were still gathering basic resources. But the speedsters were leaving the geniuses in the dust with population growth and kingdom size. At year 4, the geniuses were skipping tents and building houses. The queen of geniuses popped out quadruplets, leading to the first ever genius child to be born. Einstein was insanely intelligent, but he was a little bit slow. At a young age, Einstein would contemplate his royal bloodline. He also pondered the human culture as well. And by year 8, the geniuses had a nice little village going for them.
That's cool.
But the speedsters had a nice big town.
Dang,
Blip was busy zipping around. But the queen of geniuses was struggling to catch up to a baby chicken. The geniuses were already building legendary tools. Even with the tools, they struggled with the wildlife, being attacked by rabid wolves. And it seems like if they really want to, they can run fast. By year 18, the contrast
they're fast, they're just not as fast.
Blip of the speedsters was now a full-grown adult. Meanwhile, Einstein of the geniuses was now 16, and he had joined the army, with ambitions to one day become the king of geniuses. And then the speedsters began to get attacked by wolves, but the thing is everybody rushed over and it died instantly. By year 25, the geniuses were no longer competing with the speedsters in expansion, because the speedsters clearly outmatched them, already having built a town hall and a mine. Instead, the geniuses focused on condensing all of their resources to building quality. Blip was now 23 years old, but it seems she still had the mindset of a child. Meanwhile, Einstein was 22 and he fell in love. The geniuses finally displayed the advantage of being more intelligent, with their king enacting a bubble shield, showing off the powers of their religion. And at year 28, the speedsters continued their expansion by making a new village, crowning Blip as the new leader. And 3 years later, the geniuses also followed suit, creating a new village of their own. And almost like it was scripted, Einstein was crowned the leader of that new village.
It's not scripted, you chose to talk about them because
sizes, the speedsters had 4 times the amount of land. But they were not conscious on how careful they were using their land. The geniuses squeezed everything in their tiny little territory for maximum efficiency. While the speedsters had stone tools and copper armor, the geniuses already had legendary iron armor and steel weapons. At year 37, Einstein also figured out how to use the religion powers for good. For some reason, it looks like he got into an argument with a fellow genius, and whatever he said really pissed the guy off. So much so that they began fighting, and Einstein actually ended up killing the guy. And he seemed happy with the result.
He's happy with the result?
Blip now had 6 kids, which looked like she was following the pattern of her parents. The geniuses now set up a town hall in their more remote village. Meanwhile, the speedsters haven't even begun to set one up in the village that had already been established for a while. It looks like Einstein had finally grown a beard, and his current task was breeding. But right as he came this close to cracking, he got cold feet and ran away. At year 42, the speedsters were building statues. I mean, it made sense because they had a lot of resources. They were even building palaces, but the distribution of the resources was uneven. Being so rich, they began to get raided by bandits. Children rushed in without thinking to put out the fires, but they ended up getting bombed and died. Lives were being traded on both sides. Blip finally came to the rescue and ended the final bandit.
Dang!
It was too late and
Blip's strong too?
already done, and she had already suffered losses, as multiple of her kids had died in the fight. Around the same time, an evil mage began to attack the geniuses, but the geniuses were smart about it and used their advanced warfare tactics to surround the evil mage. Einstein even casting a bubble shield to protect everyone. Thanks to the geniuses planning and thinking it through, they managed to kill the evil mage. At 42 years old, Einstein had now become wise with old age. But something else was going on as well.
Voices in my
Blip
head.
seemed to be upset, so I checked up on her chopping trees, and it seemed like she was paying a bunch of taxes for
Paid
her
taxes.
town, even though they had like nothing and were broke poor, having a bunch of extra land for no reason, while the rest of the kingdom was rich and prosperous. Over the next decades, the difference between the two civilizations became even clearer. The speedsters grew massive, chaotic, and rich, building statues, barracks, and libraries they didn't even use. The geniuses did the opposite. Every inch of land was optimized, every resource accounted for. And then it was year 100. For nearly a century, two civilizations had grown without ever even meeting. And then the wall that stood for a century came down. The speedsters
this is
were
crazy.
the first ones to wander over,
I like
quickly
this.
getting bored and waddling away. The geniuses didn't seem to pay no mind to it. The speedsters claimed the unoccupied land and built houses on top of it, expanding their borders outwards. Out of nowhere, the king of geniuses randomly croaked and died of old age,
Aw.
meaning Einstein had now become the king of all
Dang.
geniuses.
Cool, good on
Curious, he
Einstein.
wandered over to the kingdom of speedsters to see what was going on, even attempting to communicate, but they couldn't understand his language. So he went back home unsatisfied. Out of nowhere, Blip
Kinda.
began to hear rumors of a rebellion spreading among the Speedster's kingdom, and she tried her best to ignore it. And the rumors were very true because a leader of a neighboring village began to plot a rebellion. And little did Einstein know, this might be the thing that brings down the kingdom of Speedsters.
Ooh. The
At year
speedsters?
112, it was official and the rebellion had begun. A new kingdom appeared beside the speedsters, and they clearly didn't like it, declaring war on them. Both sides rushed in to try and kill the other. The rebellion even sent a spy to try and kill the king of speedsters, but that clearly didn't go well, and just as quickly as it started, the speedsters captured their land back and ended it. But the kingdom of speedsters did not come out unharmed. Their king ended up dying in the battle, Blip being next in line for the throne and ended up becoming the queen. And as time
Cool.
continued to pass,
What if they
the
get
gap
married?
between the two
They become
kingdoms
okay.
continued to grow larger
They
and
become
larger, until
the
at year
dumb and the
171,
smart become
the
just
speedsters
me,
basically
regular.
surrounded the kingdom of geniuses, and the speedsters got greedy, declaring war on the geniuses, thinking since they had the land and population advantage they could easily win the war. They launched their first assault with
You
a
think so?
barrage of arrows, quickly sending their troops and attacking on multiple fronts. And for whatever reason, Queen Blip of the speedsters was in the battle herself, but she wasn't careful and was losing health, and because she didn't proceed with caution, she was killed in the war.
Dang.
The geniuses were defending back strong, slowly losing population. Einstein having to resort to a tactic he didn't want to, draining all of the resources the geniuses had piled up, in order to
Dang.
arm himself and the citizens of the geniuses with weapons and armor, having things like shotguns, legendary swords and armor, as well as magical staffs. See, this whole time they weren't not expanding for no reason. Instead, they were building up their culture and knowledge to craft anything they possibly could want. With this newfound advantage, they could fight back against the speedsters. Einstein,
Yeah,
taking another
easy
way
for
to
them.
even the playing field, was enacting a coffee ritual to energize and boost all of his citizens. But the geniuses were dropping like flies. Even with their
Aw.
magic tools, there was only so
Dang.
much they could do. And worst of all, when they died, the tools they spent a century researching would end up in the wrong hands. On top of that, Einstein was
Oh.
unable to complete the coffee ritual. The geniuses used everything at their disposal, and with their warfare tactics, they were able to take a village. Einstein then had a mini army of speedsters sent to kill him, but with all his knowledge and magic powers, he was able to kill them all. Even so, their population had
Dang.
now dropped under 100 people.
Einstein's
with their
going
villages being
crazy.
destroyed. Einstein found himself in a brawl with the king of speedsters, and at year 178, Einstein was now 175 years old. He had now become a veteran, crippled,
What?
mage slayer, and a kingslayer, because he actually ended up killing the king of speedsters. But of course,
Dang.
all of this came at a cost. Even being more stupid, the speedsters had
He
advanced
lost lovers, I
farther.
think?
Einstein had survived kings, mages, and entire armies, but even he couldn't stop the chaos forever. Einstein held on for as long as he could, but was eventually killed in
Dang.
the midst of war.
Poor Einstein.
And before long, with their leader gone, the capital fell, and it was one village after another until the geniuses were pushed back up against the edge of the world. Until there was only one. With a population of under 10, the final village of the geniuses was raided, and they were fully killed off.
Sad to see.
It was now year 194, and the kingdom of geniuses was destroyed. I guess
That's
even
so
with the
sad.
geniuses having superior technology and more efficient cities, they folded under the pressure and chaos of the
Maybe you gave
speedsters.
them 100
In
more
the end,
years.
Intelligence built
It wouldn't have
incredible
been close,
weapons,
I think.
but it wasn't enough to stop chaos.
Okay. Alright. That was, I gave us one Civilization Infinite Speed and one Infinite Intelligence by Siren. It was a great video. I loved it. Make sure y'all go check this channel out. Thank you for watching. Bye.